Hey guys, this is Nitesh, and this is an idea I had for a video, like, very spur of the moment, so this is going to be very light on the editing. But I don't usually have a lot of money to be spending on games, so I usually like to keep an eye out for deals I can find, like big price drops, special bundles I can get, like Humble Bundle. I'm always checking that out. So I figured, why not actually kind of put a lot of stuff that I've found together? And, that way, someone else is looking to do some gaming on a budget, and they actually have some good ideas for where they can go. So, I'm going to start with what I mentioned before, Humble Bundle. For anyone who doesn't really know how Humble Bundles work, basically, there's 3 tiers. Sometimes there's the occasional fourth, but it's pretty rare. Usually there's just 3 tiers. The first tier, you pay a minimum of $1 and you get a bunch of games. Then there's more games you can get if you pay like the minimum of the average people are spending on these Humble Bundles. So, like, if the amount of what people are paying for Humble Bundles is like $5, if you pay like 501, then you get everything in the first tier plus a bunch of other stuff. And usually with the other stuff, they add stuff in. Like, if they do a bundle where they're adding things to it, it's going to be in the middle tier. Then the top tier, you get some really nice games. That's usually where the best games in the bundle are. And everything in the other 2 tiers. So, a lot of times, I go for the $1 tier. And if there's something I really want in one of the other tiers, then I'll go for that. Even if you go with a higher tier, like, the amounts for that typically, like, bounce between, like, 10 to 15, and you get big name games. Like, there was one that was Square Enix, and in the $15 tier, there was the Tomb Raider reboot and Sleeping Dogs. So, that was a hell of a deal. But let's talk about the Humble Bundles that are up right now. The main bundle, which changes every other Tuesday, with the exception of, like, if something comes up, like, with PAX, they delayed it for, like, another week. But the current main bundle is games that are your computer and Android. So, the big name game that I saw there was VVVVVV. That's the only one that I've really heard people talking about. Not saying the other ones might not be worth it, but that's the one I've actually heard of. Then there's the weekly bundle, which comes up every Thursday. And this week's bundle is roguelikes. I'm going to be honest, I don't typically play roguelikes. It's not really, it's a genre that's not really for me. But it's got some decent games to it. Like, I've heard of Vertical Drop Heroes. I've played some of Road Not Taken. It's a pretty interesting sort of puzzle game. And Heavy Bullets, I've seen some videos about. That looks like, if you like challenge in games, that can definitely provide that. So, let's move on to the deals that I've found on Steam. And honestly, a lot of these are games that I've already played on the channel. Like, we have Mirror's Edge. Great game. You can get that for $5 on Steam, and it's worth so much more than that. If anyone saw my series on that, and if you want to check it out, it's in my playlists section. I did have some trouble with that game. Like, just some technical trouble with frame rate stuff. But I kind of wonder how much of that was the game, and how much of that was the technology in my setup couldn't really handle it. Like, I kind of think if I tried the game now with my current setup, I would have no problem with it at all. We have also got Borderlands 2. Again, $5. That's a game that I really want to get back to. It's just, if I got back to it, I would really want to just put a lot of time into it. And I kind of want to figure out when I want to do that. You know, the big reason I stopped Borderlands was because I was having a lot of computer problems and it just kind of wasn't working. But, you know, if I tried it now that I've actually kind of gotten more into the practice of doing more editing and doing, like, more cutting away from not a lot happening, I would want to be doing a lot more of that, and that would probably require a lot more time invested into it. Not something I'm opposed to. It was pretty great what I played, but just gotta actually work out when I want to do that. Speaking of Borderlands, the pre-sequel is on sale for $30. I haven't played this one. I've heard some kind of mixed things about it, but this is a full 50% off of what it usually costs. So if you've been holding off on getting it because the price tag was a bit much, now it might be a little more manageable for you. Moving right along. Transistor. I'm playing that on stream. That game is fantastic. It's so great, and you can get it on Steam for $6.79. And I'm gonna be honest, just go on Steam and get it. It is so worth it. We've got Tesla Effect for $5. Tesla Effect is a game I actually got from a Humble Bundle. I got that, Always Sometimes Monsters, Insurgency, plus a few copies of it. And what else was it? Full Mojo Rampage? I think it was Full Mojo Rampage. But yeah, Tesla Effect for $5, it's pretty great, you know. It's a game that it takes itself seriously enough to actually make you want to keep going with it, but not so serious that, like, it's ever not fun. You know, everything, that's really the best way I could put it. This game is just a lot of fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but there's still a serious story going on there. And for $5, it's definitely worth checking out. Now, moving on to a game that I don't really play, but I'm kind of in the minority on that. Civilization 5 is $7.49, and you can get Civ Beyond Earth for $25. Now, I've mentioned before I have a lot of difficulty kind of managing my attention span with RTSs, so a Civilization game is way too much of that. But if you're into 4X games and you're into Civilization games, got a nice deal on it. Now this one is it's one that I really want to play. I really want to get around to doing this. But I'm not going to be doing it for YouTube or Twitch because the game studio's kind of iffy with it, and I don't want it to kind of take too much time away from other stuff if there's going to be issues with me actually uploading it. Tales from the Borderlands is 1874. And I've heard it's fantastic. And I definitely plan on playing it, but I'm kind of just debating if I want to actually, like, just play it or if I want to stream it. Because, I know Telltale Games is a bit iffy with some YouTube content. It's a bit iffy about it, and I'm not really sure if it's a case of, like, I just can't monetize it, which, from what I hear, this game is fantastic, and I could probably just deal with that. Or, like, if it's gonna actually mess with me uploading it. I know some people have, but they're usually managed channels. So, they usually have the network just completely go to bat for them. So, that might, theoretically, be coming up. If it works, it'll come up. Now, this is a game that a lot of people don't know about. Dead Bits is 14 cents. It's a really cheap game, and it's a game people don't really know about, but it's honestly not too bad. I've played it a bit. I haven't played it in a while. I kind of want to play it again. Really short, like only 9 levels, but holy hell, it gets difficult. Like, it gets really hard at some points, and it's got great music, a nice challenging difficulty, and it goes with a very 8-bit low-res style, which, on one hand means it didn't cost a lot to make it, which means even when it's not on sale, it's only $1. And it also means that it would be very difficult to find a computer that would have trouble running it. So, 14 cents, it's definitely worth checking out. You know what? Forget it. I'm going to get a copy of that, and I'm gonna just put it in the description. So, it's definitely worth checking out. Now here's another game that I'm thinking of doing for my channel. Deus Ex Human Revolution. I haven't played it, my dad has. I want to ask him if I have to play any of the other Deus Ex games before playing it, but that I've heard is fantastic, and it's $4. So, again, I got it as part of a Humble Bundle, so for me it was even less, and from what I hear, it is really great. Now, gonna end this on a bit more of a contentious note here. Evolve is on sale for $45. Now, I've played in the alpha and the beta, and I'm gonna be honest, 45 still seems like a bit much for me to buy it. I'm not gonna be buying it for $45. a lot of people who've played it have come away thinking, oh, this is just like the best thing ever. I was really frustrated with my play experience. You know, I. In the alpha, I had no idea what the hell I was doing because the tutorial leaves out some very major aspects. And it does have some stealth stuff, but it's severely underplayed, and that's a huge problem because stealth is so important in that game. In the beta, I had a better idea of what I was going for, but it was still just a very frustrating thing because, there were some games where I spent about 10 seconds not tranquilized, and so ended that game, and I was just, oh, forget it. I am done. I am just so done with this. My dad picked it up for the PlayStation 4 because it was used, which meant we had really good access to GameStop's return policy. So I was like, you know what? We can take this back after a few days if we decide we really don't want it. So I've played it on all the platforms. And, I liked it a bit better. I kind of think a part of that was I typically played as the monster, and when the full game was released, it was open to everyone, not just the people who were looking forward to the game from the beginning. So you had like the Call of Duty players who were just like, yeah, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna carry the team. Oh crap, I just got eaten by a plant. And, by that point I also had a better idea of what the monsters could do. And, I kind of had a better idea of, like, what I needed to do to stay alive as the monster, and how to unlock the other monsters. So it went a bit better, but, even when things were going well, like when I ended up going on a winning game streak, and it still kind of felt a bit hollow to me. So Evolve for $45, I don't know if I would pay for that. A bunch of other people have absolutely loved it. And if you really like that kind of game and we're just holding off until the price dropped, maybe $45 puts it into your range, but I'm going to be waiting till it goes a bit cheaper. So anyway, that's going to be it for this first video about sales that are going on and deals. I'm going to come up with an actual title for this. I kind of want to make sure whatever I come up with hasn't already been used. It's really tough. So, anyway, that's going to be it for this one. When I do the next one, there's going to be a lot more to it. I'm going to make sure the next time I do this, it's in a way that, kind of accentuates stuff a bit better. So, anyway, thanks for tuning in. Keep enjoying the videos, and subscribe to help the channel and see more.